This week, through the Normandy window, I'm here, but I'm not here. Work starts on the shed roof. No, honestly, work starts on the shed roof. There is a very underwhelming potato harvest. Not one, but two World Cup semi-finals. An admin day goes from bad to great. Work on the shed roof then grinds to a stop, and we break ground on the pond. Come take a look. Hello, 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 hello. I'm not actually here. I'm speaking to you from the past. Because I am in England catching up with family. Madness, the Blockheads, Selector, Bryden Beach, Nick Cave, Preston Park, Brighton. It's going to be fun. However, we've been busy here. This is what happened. The roof is such a big job. I might hold off on it until my son is here in August, when he could help me with it. But when we had the thunderstorm earlier today, the water was running down directly in front of where the fuse box is, because the guttering was overflowing. So even if I don't wrap the shed, I'm going to remove the guttering. Okay, I am now 3 fingers through my site KF110s. So all good things come to an end. They've been faithful servants. I'm retiring them in favour of site SWG 540s, which come in this fetching brown, marron, as we say in France. Ideal for when you're handling metal siding. Okay, hopefully you can see that I have 3 siding panels on the roof, and these have got to come off. The existing fittings are in the way, that's why the middle one is stood up, but what I'm doing is using the 3 to actually see how much overhang I can actually get. So look, that's almost a metre overlap there. There's approaching, I don't know, 70 centimetres there. And I've got, I'd say 80 centimetres at both ends, which to an idiot like me, I think that'd be sufficient. I need to measure those overlaps. Good morning. Another beautiful day here on the Normandy Mayenne border. Today is a national holiday. It's Bastille Day, Joyeux Fête tout le monde. And my first job of the day is filling me with a bit of anxiety. I think it's time to harvest, at least do a trial harvest potato. And there's a beautiful symmetry to this because they went in on St. Patrick's Day, a holiday, and they're coming out on Bastille Day, another holiday. What's causing me anxiety is I shot my mouth off and said, forget citizen tests, everyone should be able to grow potatoes. So let's see if I've put my money where my mouth is. Here you go. 4 months in the ground. They've all wilted. These look like they're ready for harvesting. Right, I'm just picking one at average that looks kind of median. You. We have a potato. Oh, I hate it when you spear one. Okay. I don't think it's indefinite leave to remain. I think maybe it's a 1-year visa extension. So from one potato, we've got 540 grams. Call it half a kilo. Yeah, it's a meal. And welcome to the Goldilocks Metal Siding Company. We have one sheet that is too big, one sheet that is too small. So the smaller sheets I'm going to use for the overlap in the middle, whilst the longer ones will go the length along the top. when I come to do the sides, the cut off I have from the larger ones should be sufficient to cover above the door. I think that makes sense. Hashtag hate this job. Good news. There is a piece of metal siding on the roof extending 100 centimetres. But the bad news is it's in the wrong place. So look, it actually needs to go 1, 2 that way. And then it would be in the right place. And you are saying, how on earth did you manage that? There's many ways to skin a cat. So I used the acros to lift the metal siding from inside, and then with the roof raised, I was able to come outside, push it under. Once it was under, I could get it in. So although it is in the wrong place, what I've done is discover a process that means on my own I can get sheeting in place. Oh, it's progress. Attempt 2. This piece of siding is in the right place, is extending 99 centimetres. But you know what? That'll be good enough for me. It's not secured, and I can't secure it until I've got the pieces in on the other sides of it. But the first piece of siding is in place. Happy Bastille Day. Joyeux fête nationale tout le monde. I need to go and jump in the shower, and I'm off to French class. Do you know what?
You know what?
It's really difficult doing any sort of large job on your own. Anything you could do with 3 hands, 4, it's problematic. But there is a great sense of satisfaction when when you have a eureka moment and you figure your work around. I'm not going to brag, but the acro idea, genius. Expletive deleted. So I'm in a bar watching France-Spain semi-final, and Spain have just been awarded a penalty. Not a popular decision. And that is a second one in place. I really think I've figured out a system. At the moment, they're going up relatively straightforwardly. If the whole roof continues like this, I will be so happy. I have to pause it now because I'm off to an appointment with France Services to figure out the registration documents for the trailer. A bit of admin, but then I'm going to come back and I'm going to push on with this. There's still, the far side and the rear is going to be difficult, but at the moment we're making progress. Just improve something a little every day. It is admin day, and I have been trying to get the documentation for my trailer. So I started the day at France Service, who were unable to help me. They sent me to Villaines-la-Juelle to get a numerical identity number from the post office. So I've been to the post office and they've said, do you have a piece of French identity? I said, well, I've got a social security number. They said, no.
Well, it's a catch-22.
You need your titre de séjour, which I have applied for and I'm waiting for. And I'm also waiting for my carte vitale. So certainly without the titre de séjour, I can't proceed. There is a bar behind me, so I think I might just pop in there for a moment. Admin Day Part 2. Talk about keep you on your toes. So, the last clip demonstrates how pernickety and at times frustrating French bureaucracy can be, and how slow. There is another side to the same coin. So, and this is a good one, 10th of July, I made my application to renew my stay in France. It's the 15th of July and I've received notification that they've approved the application. 5 days from application to approval. So I wait now for an invite to the prefecture, where I guess I take my passport and they give me the document. I pay €250 for that year extension. That is fantastic news. Here for a second year, baby. It's England, Argentina tonight. If that goes well, who knows? Who knows? Okay, so this is my process. So you can see I've used the acros to lift the metal siding on the roof. That gives me a space to insert a new piece. Well, that's very useful. Just to test the quality of our work. The rain's arrived. There's a bit of thunder and lightning going on, but I can see the water is running off the roof. Still a long way to go, and fixing it down is going to be a beggar. But we are making progress on my least favourite job. Houston, we have a problem. Inasmuch as whoever put the roof on did one end at, let's call it 90 degrees, and the other end, let's call it 85 degrees, which means although either end will fit snugly, where the two meet, they absolutely hate each other. They are never going to fit, and they will never be watertight, which is the whole point. And having given it some thought, there can only be one solution. One end of the shed roof has to come off and be realigned, which just doubles the size of the job. Okay, so it is about 9 in the morning, and I am just waiting on Paul, digger driver, who is coming back today with the digger, with a dumper. So he's going to start on the pond, which is fantastic. I'd actually forgotten he was coming until yesterday. And then I think what I'm going to try and do is get the topsoil dumped near the veg garden, so I can start using it, create some raised beds, and then the remainder of it we're going to use to build like a bunt, a mud wall around the pond. That's the plan. Right, let's see what happens. So you can see what we've started off doing. We've buried the pipe that goes from the pump down to where the pond will be, just down there. Then we've also, I say we, also buried the first length of the pipe that is going to take the rainwater from the house down to the pond. And then the job now, Paul's just taking the topsoil off, or the greenery off. Then we've got the digger, so that will take the topsoil up towards the house, where we've marked out an area where I'm going to have like about 8 piles dropped, which will become raised beds, and then the remainder of the soil, what we'll do, we'll build a bunt, a raised dirt wall around the pond. If you imagine a clock face with 1/4 of the clock face open facing the house. So a very productive day with Paul again. He's coming back in about 48 hours and will finish all of his work. The actual pond itself, the third channel, and a couple of other little bits of just tidying up the drive. So that's fantastic. The shed roof is just turning into the job that just keeps on giving. My trip to England is imminent now, so what I think I'm going to have to do is leave it and pick it up again when I return. What I don't want to do is take the roof off, run into another problem, run out of time before I leave for England, leave the shed with half a roof, and then for it to rain and get at the electrics. So that will now be August when I pick that up, and by then it'll really be something to crack on. We'll have the screws for the woodwork I'll need to go and get, the beams. I'll have hopefully a second pair of hands to help me with the roof. Right, we'll see how it goes. I'm going to call it there for this week. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Feel free to like, share, subscribe, comments. Take care, have a great week, and I'll see you next Saturday. Thanks a lot.